Welcome to another episode of La Ventanita. I'm Carlos Frias, the Miami Herald food editor, joined by my co-host, Amy Reyes.
Hi.
And we're going to try to do a podcast today.
Yeah, we're going to get it done. It's going to happen.
We're going to get it done. This has obviously been it's been a tough week. We're obviously going to talk food, and we're going to try to have some fun here today, but I think it's just important to note and to think about a little bit about these families that are grieving their lost loved ones. Amy, I was telling you this right before we came on. Every time that there's a shooting like this, I always think about my dad. Folks may or may not know. My dad was shot to death, 92 years old in his own home 2 years ago, and it's something that I miss him more every day. It's not one of those things that gets better. I know you lost your folks too. And it's one of those things that you miss them more. And I always think about how avoidable this would have been. Someone who, in my dad's case, it was someone who looks like they had mental issues. They're in custody now. It's someone who shouldn't have had a gun. It's someone who just should not have had a gun. And I think we need to have a hard talk in this country about whether we are so scared of ourselves and our ability to just live our lives that we can't separate ourselves from our guns. And I think the price we pay, we're seeing it today. We saw it 2 days ago. 14 little kids, murdered just going to school. My dad was just in his house, and the neighbor came over. He had bought a Glock, a kind of gun you only see with a cop, and shot my dad 13 times. And my brother had to go and find him. And that's not something that any family should have to go through. My dad was 92, but he had the spirit of a boy. He was a ray of light. There's videos. We have our videos of when he reacted to Ultra. He's just had the most living spirit, and I miss him every day. And I would not choose guns over my dad. So
No.
So we're gonna try to switch gears from that.
Yeah, no, I think
is,
what you said is important, Carlos, and everybody needs to think really long and hard about what kind of a country we want to be.
Right.
Like, what are we defending our right to have?
Right. Exactly. What do we want to have? Do we want to have a life, or do we want to have this life of terror that we have? And I choose to live.
Yeah.
So anyway. The hard transition here. Honestly, the thing that took my mind off things even for a minute was the Heat game. Like, I've always been looking forward to the Heat games, and yet that's like another source of anxiety, right? Because I'll, in a best case scenario, I'll make some food, and I'll sit down for the game and kind of enjoy it, even though these 8:30 starts are killing me.
Yeah, that seems like a past my bedtime.
Dude, I mean, the game's end at 11 o'clock. That is
way
legit.
too late.
No.
I definitely need the recap in the morning. That's what I would need.
I mean, you don't care about the recap. You're not a sports
Listen,
baller.
I care about, I am definitely one of those fair-weathered friends, when it comes to sports ball. If we're winning, I'll get into it for a couple days, but I don't have the same enthusiasm that you and our coworker Connie have, and I get all of my Heat, sports ball information from our group chat. So
right, we give you the sports for dummies. We give you the how the Heat played for dummies version.
Yeah,
exactly.
On the next day. Listen, that guy took the sports ball and he put it in the hoop thing, Amy, and he did a good job at it. That's pretty much what it sounds like.
He sports balled as much as you can sports ball.
Yeah, they're sports balling great tonight, Amy. Or they're sports balling bad tonight, so we went to bed early. So what do you eat? What do you eat? How do you nervous eat this situation?
Well, I've been real good in I'm not stocking stuff in the house that would be destructive.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
that's smart.
I mean, I think that's the only way to do it, because otherwise, then you're putting yourself in a precarious situation. But I had this moment, the Heat. It was one of those games where the game was starting to get away from them,
mm-hmm.
and during those games, all their commercials for are pizza, Taco Bell, burgers, and beer. And it's those things. It's Buffalo Wild Wings and Taco Bell.
So you're like
and-
Pavlov's dogs, and you're just
Oh
like
my God.
drooling, just like, yes, I need that.
And I did what I have never done before. I Uber Eats, ordered via Uber Eats, Taco Bell.
Oh my God! What?
I know.
You
I
spent more
hated
money on
myself.
the delivery than the actual product. That's what you just did.
Amy, it didn't matter. I was like, my hands were shaking, and I was watching those Taco Bell commercials. I heard that bell, and that was like Pavlov's
But
dog.
wait. What do you order at a Taco Bell? Like, what is your order for Taco Bell?
All right. So a couple weeks ago, they announced that they were bringing back the Mexican pizza.
Which they had to. It's
Right.
obviously a delicacy.
Obviously, the Mexican pizza
Popular demand.
is the orderlan. You know, you have to eat it with a sheet over your head to hide your shame from God. And so I ordered.
Oh.
Oh, there it is. That's it.
Thank you,
That's it.
Pierre.
Pierre,
Now I'm
Pierre
drooling.
Taylor, our technical, our producer, our director, with this lovely photo of the new Mexican pizza. Honestly, I don't know what's new about it. It tastes just like the old one, but I like, you get on the app and you're like, I just want this pizza, and
Yeah.
then I'm there and I'm like, oh, what is the toasted cheddar chalupa? I'll take one of those. Oh, what is the cheesy gordita? I'll take one of those.
So you went hard. You went to like the B side of the menu.
Oh my God, yeah, and it was like these were like
The deep cuts.
the deep cuts, and as the
You didn't
heat,
just get a burrito. You were
Oh my
like,
God.
no.
and as the heat is falling further and further behind, I am just gorging on this food like
No, you're going hard.
The crispy Mexican pizza, and it's like, it doesn't taste like food necessarily. It tastes like a familiar thing. Right?
Yeah.
It tastes like late nights in high school.
100%. I was going to say my experience with Taco Bell is that it was like my diet from like maybe senior year of high school until I was probably about like a junior in college. Like I would get, and I was a vegetarian then, so I would get them to take the meat off the vegetarian pizza, the Mexican pizza, because that was my order too. I would always get the pizza.
Oh, the Mexican. You were Mexican. I didn't know that you were a Mexican pizza.
Yeah, no, I used
aficionado.
to get that. It's pretty legit. Like when you're a teenager and you don't really have any criteria. Like it, and when I could eat it now and probably be like, okay, these beans are disgusting, but I would still probably get some kind of satisfaction from eating it.
Yeah,
like
it
100%.
It triggers an old, a nascent dopamine reaction, like
like a
something
memory,
primordial.
like a taste memory. The taste memory of being in college and like you're independent and like nobody's nagging you about what to do and like, oh, I'm gonna go get a Mexican pizza and eat this weird non-real Mexican food and yeah.
At 2 a.m, and no one can
Yes.
tell me otherwise.
Yeah, well, I applaud you for Uber Eating that and helping
No.
our local economy
Don't do
by
that.
employing drivers and stuff. But like, bro, like there is no excuse for Uber Eating.
So I mean, there's
Fast
really
food.
nothing to talk about. It tastes like what you remember. So you have like that thin, crispy white corn shell.
So wait, are they gonna McRib this? Are they bringing it in for like a limited run, or were they like people were like complaining so hard that they were like, well, we got to bring back the Mexican pizza?
People were like, we're on hunger strikes until you bring back the Mexican pizza.
Well, I mean, the
you
people
know,
have spoken.
They have, and you know what? It's fine. That's the thing. If that's the thing that you want, there's really nothing else on any menu anywhere that tastes like that,
No.
and probably for good reason.
How many did you eat? Did you have one?
I ordered one, and it's like they cut it into fours, like a little tiny pizza.
Like a
and
little-
I usually eat it with a fork because it doesn't make sense to pick it up. But I actually picked it up this time, and I slathered it.
It was crispy.
with the hot sauce. Oh, it was crispy.
You better give that driver 4 stars because he brought it to you piping hot then.
Yeah, it was not.
Before it could get soggy.
It got here pretty fast. It got here faster than any other Uber Eats order I have ever done. Like, it was truly fast food.
Nice.
And then I ordered, I'm telling you, the marketing worked, because the thing on the marketing, and then it popped up on the app, was this a toasted cheddar chalupa. Amy, I didn't even know what that was.
I don't know what
I
that
ordered
is.
it like, what is a chalupa? It's fine. It sounds delicious. Also horrible. And what it is they coat the outside in what they say is 6-month aged cheddar, and then they toast it so that it's supposed to be crispy. It tasted like it was sitting out for 6 months. Like, I took 2 bites of it, and I had
You were like, no.
I had the visceral gag reaction, like, "Urgh." And no, Amy.
No.
No, I did
No.
eat I did eat the cheesy chalupa though. Oh, and by the way, like I had belly Mexicans that entire night.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, you just have to settle in.
Yeah,
Don't make plans.
I had
Don't make
mariachi
plans.
belly. I had mariachi belly, big time.
Do not make plans.
It was.
Well,
Oh
listen.
my God.
Speaking of like retro stuff, let me tell you where I ate yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Right.
okay. I know you can speak to this better than I can, but you remember the old Swenson's on US One?
No, of
It
course.
was the ice cream place. Listen, they had that in Detroit when I was a kid growing up, and I swear to God, I went to like Swenson's like twice, and it was always one of those treats that you would go to like to get I would always get like a root beer float. That was my order at Swenson's. That's all we would go for was the ice cream. But apparently they had a whole menu before they
Yeah, it
closed.
was all ice cream, and I mean, it was like comfort food. It was like ice cream
Yeah,
and
like
comfort
burgers.
food, basically. Burgers.
So now it's called the one on Sunset, I think.
The one on Sunset. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the new name. Mm-hmm.
And so they kept a lot of the old Swenson's decor, which was super, super, it was super retro. It had all these Tiffany lamps hanging and all this like wood, like this kind of rustic wood. And the booths, it was very like,
It
old
feels like
timey
the
time.
70s.
Yeah, very 70s. In Michigan, I don't know if it was like that here, but in Michigan, the waitresses wore these like German-looking like Hausfrau dresses that had like an apron in the front.
Like Lederhosen, with the men in Lederhosen. And
Kind of. Well, I don't know what the women's dresses are called, but it had like an apron or like bib thing in the front and like looked super old-timey. And so now, the new owners, they have created a whole new menu, and it does include ice cream. But I gotta say, this place is legit because sometimes I go through these periods where I'm just like I'm super super trying to be diety because I'm trying to keep my fit life going. And this place has, on the one hand, they have burgers with fried cheese on it, like fried like queso frito, like
oh, like
the
the Nika.
thick.
Oh, they used to call that the Nika burger there.
Well, they
Or
got
it's
one of
called
them.
the Latin burger or something. Now.
It's legit looking. I didn't order that because I am currently like yesterday was like diet day. So they have that kind of stuff. And then they also have I think it's called the 305 burger, and I'm pretty sure it has maduros on it. It's like it's an experience. Like you could go there and you could have a real burger experience.
They hand it to you and they're like, "Dale."
Yeah, they're just like, "Okay, this is what you're doing today." So, you can do that, or you can do what they call their healthy bowls, which is one of those like build a bowl things where they're like, do you want rice? Do you want lentils? Do you want white rice, or do you want like a salad or whatever? And then you pick your vegetables, and you can pick like some sauces and stuff. So
That's interesting.
this restaurant has like
It's trying to do a lot of things.
They are
It's
doing
trying
a
to do
lot of things. They are doing a lot of
Yeah.
things. So you can take your kid for a burger and you can still be on your lame diet, is basically my point. But it turns out that the owner, his name is Demetrius, and he owns a couple of other places around town. And homeboy is actually a triathlete. So
Get out of town.
no, I'm serious. He's a triathlete. So that's
And
probably
you were there meeting with your
Yes.
your
my Max Cycle Squad.
Yes, because you're a Max Cycle ambassador.
Yes, I'm
Look
an
at
ambassador
you.
for. Well, no, I just gotta like we do group rides and we like promote bike safety and we do.
And for that you get 5% off all
No, I
gear.
get more than that. I get like, oh, dude, if I get 30% off of my next
What?
tri-suit,
What?
which is actually legit. I get all kinds of benefits, and I can give discounts to my friends. But I'm not gonna give you one now
Wow,
that you're
that's
dissing
fine.
my.
I'm not putting on
Not about my
tri-suit
cycle
and
life.
I'm not about that. I'm not
Well,
about that.
the place is literally down the street from Max Cycle too, so it was a really good place to go because, like I
Smart.
said, you can splurge and like you can go really hard for the burgers, or you can have a completely different experience and get one of these healthy bowls. And let me tell you something, I've been trying to avoid dairy, but when I got there and I saw that there's a lot like a real Greek vibe to some of the healthier options because they have
He's
like
Greek. Demetrius is Greek.
right,
Yeah.
dude, the tzatziki is something that you just want to put on everything. Like I could just like take a bath in it. That's how good it was.
I love that
And
stuff.
so I put it on my healthy bowl, and I was trying to like spread it out, like ration it so that I could have a little bit with every single bite. But it was good. And then my girlfriend got the falafel pita wrap, and it was like covered in tzatziki. So it's just like, I think that the stuff that they have on the menu with kind of a Greek edge to it is all really good. Like I think that he probably excels at that stuff because he also owns a Greek restaurant as well.
It's cool that like it's funny because our experiences overlapped. Like earlier in the day, I think I sent you a note. I was like, hey, I'm gonna write something about this
Right.
place reopening as this thing because people love Swenson, and you were like, I'm going there tonight with my tribe
Yep.
group. So I
And
had talked to
then
him a little bit. I had talked to Demetrius a little bit, and he owns so he started at Taverna Opa.
oh,
He opened a bunch of those Taverna Opas, like
I
opened the
used to
meeting.
love that place.
Yeah, like he was the when I say open the meeting, he was part of the original staff that would open a new restaurant, and he did that for like 30 years.
Oh
In other
wow.
words, and he's
That
Greek,
place
so
was a riot. Taverna Opa was really fun. It was one of those. The one that I went to was the one that was south of Fifth, and it was
yep.
so much fun. You would stand, like you would dance on the tables and throw napkins everywhere.
Yeah, he opened that one. Like you would smash plates right too. That was
Yep.
part of it too.
It was really really fun.
It was like a Greek mosh pit.
Totally.
And he was telling me that yeah, he wanted to incorporate some Greek food into the menu. So like they make their own tzatziki sauce, they make their own hummus.
so
All that
good.
stuff is homemade. And the ice cream, because that was the big part of Swenson's. Like my kids
Right.
loved getting that ridiculous tall shake. I mean, like a sundae of whatever, melted, caramel sauce or fudge sauce. And he partnered with a local ice cream maker who's like a gelato maker. So it's kind of like an ice cream gelato in the middle, so it tastes really rich and really fresh. So they can come up with like flavors of the month and flavors
Yeah.
of the week and one-off things.
Well, when I was there, like the menu has, they have like floats and they have sundaes and stuff. Like you can build all kinds of different things. But what we ordered was 2 scoops of ice cream. One of them was the coquito ice cream,
Oh
which
my
was
God.
legit.
That
Oh
sounds
my gosh,
amazing.
it was really good. And you could it had like little like coconut shavings in it, so it was really had a lot of texture to it. And then they had this guava. It was like guava cheesecake ice cream. That was really good too. But I like the coquito.
The place is called Paradiso Gelato, and they have a place in North Miami. I want to just look that up in my notes here real quick. And yeah, so the guy was like, look, I'm a small businessman, I'm a local, and I want to use local stuff.
Yeah.
And what the landlords, they had 2 options: give the lease to this guy or give the lease to Starbucks.
Oh my god.
So could you imagine if they had torn out that old kitschy Swenson's and put in like
No.
another generic Starbucks?
No, that would suck. There's like a Starbucks in Sunset Place. They don't need another Starbucks.
Yeah, man, get out of here with
It's
that
like around the
Starbucks.
corner. Like you don't need more Starbuckses. And plus, oh my
No.
god, they would put another drive-through, and the traffic going up US 1.
Is great.
Oh no, forget
So
it.
good.
It's amazing. That would be awesome. Yeah, I think that the landlords did the right thing for America by that.
I mean, you know what? We lose sight how much landlords can really affect a community. Can
Yeah,
really
oh, for
affect,
sure.
especially when it comes to places like food and stuff like that. And it's like if you rent it out to like somebody down the street, like I live right off of Cayocho, just built like another storage unit thing. And
Oh,
on one sense, I'm like, all right, it's not more housing, and Cayocho's already so full of traffic. But also, it's a little bit sad. I drive
Yeah.
around feeling like I live in a warehouse district. in
Yeah,
parts,
it kills the vibe.
It does kill the vibe,
That's why I remember when you did that story about Giralda Plaza.
Yeah.
And you talked to the guys who were kind of developing it, and they were like, we had real specific ideas about what kind of restaurants we wanted to put here.
Right. Those guys did that on a small scale, and let me tell you, I would credit them a lot for how well Giralda Plaza is doing. Because they closed down that street. That street was dead, Amy. Like I used
Wait,
to
but
go
don't
there
you
all the time.
remember when you reported that story? Don't you remember that they had the option to put the Cheesecake Factory there?
That's right. I mean, and like the Cheesecake Factory is kind of the kiss of death. Like that
Yeah,
is
it's pretty much like
that is the victory cigar for corporate America. Like, and actually the Cheesecake Factory did come, but they went to like another off area location, like an area that to a location that wasn't so central. To
Yeah,
Coral
no, well,
Gables.
that's fine. Listen, Mark Huckman is probably right that the Cheesecake Factory has plenty of wonderful things. But I think that if you want to create a kind of a vibe to an area and you want local business people to like participate in it and feel a real sense of community, you kind of have to give that corporate type of business like its own space away from that, or else
Yeah.
it just kind of it messes up the vibe.
Well, I mean, that's what happened. I mean, I'm not going to blame it on Cheesecake Factory, but that's kind of what happened to the Grove. The Cocoa Walk area was all national franchises and these weird little shops that nobody went into. These these boutiques that were by the wives of some Russian oligarch.
Money laundering.
Yeah,
Money laundering operations.
It's like there's never anybody in here. How is this place open? And it just kills the vibe, man. And
Yeah.
I think that like Geraldo Plaza is so good about that right now. Like there's I mean the most corporate you get is like there's a Koyo Taco, but that's still a Miami
That's like
thing,
local,
Yeah. Like you got that, you got Luca, which is so good, the Georgia Raptor.
Yeah, that's next on my list.
And his eating house is supposed to be opening, I think, like for the fall, and that's
nice.
that's almost next door. And that's a real smart kind of business move. There's a couple guys who have done that where they've said, I'm gonna open my restaurants near each other so I can be in their vicinity. Like I can go.
Right. So I'm not running around town.
Yeah, and like Mike Beltran did that in Coconut Grove. Like I want to say Ariette, Nave. He owns a part of Taurus Whiskey Bar, and Chug's Diner. All those things are probably, I don't know, within 1,000 feet of each other. Like all on that one street. And the Pub Belly guys, before Sunset Place got ridiculously expensive, like they originally opened Barceloneta, Pub Belly Sushi, all in that little corner area
The Sunset Harbor.
in Sunset Harbor, and
Right.
they had also opened a steakhouse called Pub Belly Steak. We're going way back now. That was nearby, so. And like they were very successful during that period until the landlords.
Yeah, think about poor Kush driving from Coconut Grove to Hialeah to Wynwood.
No,
So much gas.
I know, but he's building his hashtag brand.
He is, and you know something? I have a really, really smart suggestion for him. He needs to do a concept in the Kingdom of Kendall
Oh, God.
that includes a Dandy Bear speakeasy. He needs to go and buy up all of the animatronic robots and
that
stuff.
just hit me. Like the idea of a Dandy Bear speakeasy is
Yes.
fantastic.
It needs to be like upstairs, and there's got to be some of the animatronic robots from the Dandy Bear. He needs to buy them now, immediately, before the Dandy Bear people just chuck them in the garbage. These are things that we need to preserve.
Oh
you know?
my God, Amy, I can't say that this is a terrible idea. I do
No,
think
this is a dope idea. I want my Dandy Bear speakeasy now, and
I
he
think
needs
Kush
to do.
would have fun with that.
And the first floor can be burgers. Like Kendall loves burgers, but we need a Dandy Bear speakeasy. Give the people of Kendall what they want.
Oh my God, I want to laugh at it, but I think that like that is almost because that's kind of what he does, right? Like he takes his
creates
Miami,
an homage to an area. Yes.
Yeah, like in Hialeah, he's got very Hialeah things. When he redid that, he did like a tribute to the
Tobacco Road.
yeah, Tobacco Road, and it's super it's like all very Tobacco Roady tribute, and I think that like, oh my God, a Dandy Bear Kush would be amazing.
Yeah, dude. He should do it. And then the first
How do
floor.
I invest in this idea?
The first floor can be like a burger place, whatever kind of food he wants to put in there. And he can bring in his craft beers and stuff like that. I'll get the whatever red wine he serves. And then the theme, decoratively, since he's really into design, it could be focusing on all things Kendall. Traffic, strip malls, parking lots, the Miccosukee golf course,
Yes.
and upstairs, Dandy Bear Speakeasy.
Oh my God, Dandy Bear Cocktail Bar. That would be amazing. Or imagine just if he did a Kush and then the upstairs was a Dandy Bear themed
Fine.
cocktail bar.
It could be called Kush
That's amazing.
Kendall.
Yeah, Dandy Bear by Kush. We're just messing with Matt Kusher, but you know what? He would, if anybody could make that work, that dude would make that work.
There has to be a ball pit in the corner somewhere.
So that adults can get drunk and throw up into
Yes.
and splash around in it.
Yes. I will not tell you how many dirty diapers I found in Dandy Bear when I used to take my kids there. It came to a point where my daughter was like, I don't want to go there, Mom. It's just disgusting.
Dude, when the kids tell you they don't want to go there.
They're like, no more.
Have I shared with you that my first job, like my first getting a W-2 form, was working for Chuck E. Cheese's?
Oh, my God, no.
I've told
No.
you that, haven't I?
No, you have not told me this story.
Come on.
What was your job at Chuck E. Cheese? What did you do?
Okay, so I went in because a couple of my buddies were working in the kitchen, and they were like making some, they were making some money, and I was like, all right, I'll go work at. It was really because my buddies worked there, my buddy Manny and Freddie, and so I go and I apply for a job, and I'm working in the kitchen, and I'm personable, and the GM, who really liked, I mean, if you think about the hiring practices, he just put the girls up front, and put all the guys in the back, and he's like, oh, maybe you'd work up front. Because frankly, I was terrible at cleaning dishes. I was like, I'm like such a perfectionist. I was like cleaning the pizza, trays till they were
They were
shiny.
like, we don't have time for that.
And he's like, just do this faster. And I was like, dude, I can't. I don't know. What do you want from me? So they put me up front, and I did that job for, I want to say 2 years. Like
Is
as
this
an
up in, was
after-school
this up
summer
in,
job.
in Pines or like?
Yeah, in Pembroke Pines. It's still there. Like
Oh my
I would
God.
go in the summers. Like I would work really in the summers, and during the school year, I didn't really work that much, only on the weekends. And Amy, the people. First of all, people like I would be the like little party host. Like the kids would come for their parties, and you have all these like these old these divorcees. Like
Oh my
I was like 17 years old, and these divorcees are just like
All these cougars
literally-
were hovering over
Oh
you.
my god! They would give
Aw.
like these ridiculous tips. Like I made like $200 in tips on a weekend
Oh my God.
in 1991
Oh,
or
poor
something.
Carlos, you were like sitting there like innocent cougar bait.
Oh, show me
poor
the money.
baby.
But dude, one of the most wretched jobs is when you worked up front, you had to clean the dining room. And involved in that is like periodically they would empty out the ball pit and burn the balls.
I don't wanna know.
Like they would throw them away. Let's put it that way. They would throw them
Wow.
away. And when you remove the ball pit and you see what's left,
Oh no.
no, it's watching the sausage get made.
Ugh,
And like,
bleh.
I mean, my kids would love to go there, and I would take them, and I would be like, you can play anywhere but the ball pit.
The ball pit is
The
no
ball pit
longer
is
off
is
limits.
out. Yeah. I mean,
Well, you know something? I actually had somebody describe to me, and I'm sorry to ruin this for you. I had somebody describe to me the way Taco Bell makes its beef, and it involves
Oh.
water and like a spoon. So
well, you can't ruin it. I know that it's terrible. I
Oh,
see
okay.
it. I'm
'Cause
looking
it's
at it
like-
with my eyes.
it's like a thing that happens like that. Like that's how they make beef, and I was like, I know this intellectually. I know that it's disgusting. However, I want a Mexican pizza.
you know you're in trouble when they start spelling beef like BIEF. Made with real beef.
Beef. TM. Oh my God.
It's terrifying. Whatever. No Taco Bell. I mean, I probably won't have Taco Bell now for like 2 years. Like that.
Yeah, I think you've met your quota for
I mean,
like,
I think that's how often it's kind of like radiation. Like, you can probably only have that every once every few years before it.
and then survive and continue to live your life.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
right. Yeah.
All right, well,
So
listen,
anyway.
I need you to talk to me about Zach the Baker's prospects for this James Beard Award.
All right, so they're gonna name the James Beard Award for the only person that's in the Miami running for the restaurant people is Zach the Baker, and they're gonna name it June 13th. And honestly, I know some folks who are in the selection of it, who are talking over the rankings of those positions, and really his only competition is a guy named Don Guerra, who's out in Arizona, and he opened a place called Barrio Bread, which is pretty funny. He's like a Mexican background guy, like generations of Mexican, and he's doing this really cool thing where they're doing like he brought back a kind of wheat that was grown indigenously in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
And is like milling his own wheat and is encouraging the reestablishment of that whole heritage wheat. So like he's doing a lot of stuff on that end, and I think that's probably going to be Zach's biggest competition. But otherwise, like I think Zach has a real shot. I think he has
Yeah.
a real shot.
Well,
I think that he does. I think he does a great job with like. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we had him on the show. He seems like a guy who is trying to do things the right way. Who's not trying to like just get
scale
just
up
become
and
the man.
and
yeah.
He's
Like
he's trying to keep things tight and well done.
yeah, he could have sold that. He could have sold that brand and just like pocketed the cash,
Yeah.
But he's doing a cool thing, so I think you'll have a shot. I think
Yeah.
you'll have a shot there.
So you're gonna go.
I am gonna go. I've decided I'm gonna fly up, and the truth is, you know, before they were going to announce, you know, the finalists in the writing category, because they hand out the writing awards on the 11th, and then they do the chefs and restaurant on the 13th, you know, both in Chicago. I was like, look, it would just be cool to get nominated again, because, you know, there's a little bit of imposter syndrome. I'm not gonna lie, you know, it was cool to win. It was cool and amazing and like unbelievable, really, to win a James Beard Award the first time, and I was just like, but you know, it would just be cool to get nominated again, just to know that it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of the takeaway right now, is that like you do good work. I mean, like you got nominated. Like this is a national competition. It's not local. It's not, you know, statewide.
Right.
It's national. And I mean, they probably got a lot of submissions, and like you came out on the top in the finalists. So I really think you should consider that a win, as it is.
Like totally, yes. Like I'm on board with that. But I gotta tell you,
Okay, and so don't come home sad if you don't
as
win.
it's getting closer,
No.
I'm kind of like,
Don't come
wouldn't
home
it
sad.
be nice to win another?
Yeah,
win?
no,
And
you
it's
can't
like,
think.
damn it,
No, don't think like
Damn
that.
it.
You gotta think like.
I already
you gotta think
ruined
like,
it.
I've
I did
already
it
won.
already.
I've already won.
I know. I'm trying to repeat that to myself.
Okay, and
know?
you gotta practice your like shocked but I didn't win face. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like this, like. Yeah, like kind of.
Yeah, that guy, that girl, that
girl,
person.
yeah.
They sure deserved it.
Well earned,
I'm happy
well
for
earned.
them.
Well earned.
Just practice that in the mirror a little bit, and I think you'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And honestly, those two, the two other, there's two women in that are also finalists with me in that category, and really, I read their work, and it's really phenomenal. There's one that did, it's like 3 book reviews, kind of like cookbook reviews, and then she kind of riffs on them to write kind of cultural pieces, and they're really fantastic.
Oh, that's
And-
awesome.
And the other person covers L.A., like L.A.'s food for Eater, I want to say, and her stuff is great too, you know. So, but we'll see how it goes.
Okay, just remember, I'm making the face.
yeah.
I'm making the yes. It's a smile. It's a smile that doesn't express glee, but it expresses a certain amount of understanding. Like, yes, okay, that's fine.
Let me tell you, there was a Miami chef who I'm not going to name, but my predecessor here actually is the one that pointed out to me, Evan Ben, that he was watching the awards, because like I said, the chef awards and the media awards are totally separate. This was a few years ago. And when the chef he was named a finalist, which is a big deal. Like, you're a James Beard finalist, you know, as a chef. And he didn't win, and he literally just like threw his napkin down and
he
and
did the
left.
like
left. Got up
left.
and
Oh
left.
no,
Got
sore
up and
loser.
left. Yeah, that's a bad look.
That is a bad look.
I get it. Like, it's a bummer, but
Nah, you
Come
got to
on,
be a
man.
gracious loser. Come
yeah,
on.
come on, man.
Grow up,
I mean,
dude.
honestly, all these awards, every award is a made up thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, just keep that in mind. It's a totally made up thing.
But I
You know?
won it. I deserve this
not
made up
wrong.
thing that I didn't know was important until I got this job.
And no, seriously, to me, like, if you had told me like that I'd ever win a James Beard Award, it's like if someone told us like, oh, you could win an Emmy for doing this podcast. Like, it's that ridiculous. So it was kind of that kind of surprise, you know. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a thing that you know that you want until you're there. Then you're like, well, no, I kind of want to get it. You know?
Well, practice the face. All right, Carlos. So I need you to discuss to answer this question for me. Has Miami reached peak secret omakase restaurant? Have we?
I think we're
Are-
getting there. I think
Are we
I
at the
think
tipping point?
when I have an omakase in the back of the Cuban pizza place on my corner, I think then it'll be too much. But I
That'll be
think-
too much.
But I think we've reached saturation, because there's like two new ones, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
we
edited,
just-
those stories, so you know more about them than I do.
Yeah, there's
Connie
two
wrote
of
about
them.
that.
One of them is by Paul Cui from
Mm-hmm.
the guy who has the place in the Faina.
Key, I think he pronounces
Key?
his name Key. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you know, it could be.
I've never said it out loud before.
It could be Key, but I think it's Key. Paul Key.
Well, Paul has a new place in the Faina, and it sounds really fancy, like really fancy. It only seats like 6 people, and it's called El Secreto.
Oh no, I hate it already. No, I don't mean that, but I don't know. it's kind of that's kind of pretentious.
And then there's another one in Aventura that's located inside Reunion Kitchen and Bar. That it's got a larger space, but it's also one of those like kind of secret speakeasy type things,
Right.
where they have a bar for like 8, and then table for like to accommodate like 18. So it's all chef's choice. And it's all very expensive and very fancy and very, very exclusivo. They do like 2 seatings a night. Yeah.
Connie went to that one. She really liked it.
Yeah. No, it sounds very fancy. It sounds very fancy. The thing about omakase is that like, the chef basically gives you whatever they feel like giving you.
I love that.
And I've only done it one time because it's incredibly expensive, and so it's one of those things where like you're really going to splurge or you're going to get treated. And so if you go and somebody presents you with a little teeny tiny piece of uni and you don't like it,
danger,
and they're standing in front of you, it's just, I felt so humiliated to have to say, I cannot put this in my mouth. It's
you didn't eat it.
I
rejected
ate the first one. I ate the first one because I didn't know what it was, and then when I tasted it, and I was like, I am sure this is a delicacy, but my taste buds are way too Detroit to handle.
Amy,
what is uni? Like it tastes like, to me it tasted like the bad breath on a tongue of some creature that had been dragged across the bottom of the ocean.
Dude, but in that scenario, you have to imagine that you're in a Russian gulag and you're like, I have to eat this to stay alive. And that's how you eat. That's how you eat things that you're scared of.
Yeah.
Is you pretend like your life depends on it. That's what I do. I'm like, you know what? Or I pretend that like my dad is there watching me,
and he's
and
like,
I'm 10 years
cómetelo.
old. Yeah, you eat
Que eso
that
yo lo
whole
pagué.
fish. Yeah, exactly. You eat that whole fish I put in front of you and pick through those spines. When I was a kid, man, I had that because I grew up Catholic. Did you ever hear the story of Saint Blaise?
No, please tell me the story of Saint Blaise.
You grew up did you grow up Catholic or just
no,
like
man,
general
my parents were
Christian?
atheists. My dad was like Catholic until he became and my oldest sister is baptized Catholic, but like after maybe their 20s, my parents were like, yeah, no, we're good.
Oh, so okay. So are you the third? Are you the youngest?
I'm the 4th. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time they got to you,
They
we
were
don't
like,
believe in
they were
anything.
done. They were
You're like,
done.
I have 4 kids. There is no God.
There is no God. They sent me to Catholic school though. They were like, please educate this one.
Well,
Nuns.
I was in Catholic school my whole growing up, and they told us the story as a little kid about Saint Blaise, who was apparently
Spell this name.
Blaze, I believe.
Okay, this sounds like the patron saint of Method Man or something like that.
Well, when people cough in Spanish, people they'll say "sambla." They say the way that they say.
Okay.
They say,
you said
"God
it
bless
wrong. You said it wrong because
Samblas.
I think that's how I recognize Blas.
Now you know.
Yeah,
now
I've heard that
it.
name in Spanish, but not in English.
Well, either that person saved somebody from choking on a fish spine, or he himself had a fish spine stuck in his throat.
Pierre's like, you spelled it wrong. You spelled it wrong. It's Blaise.
See, Pierre is our fact
He's
checker.
our fact checker.
The what do we get wrong? We should do a what do we get wrong segment.
Everything.
That would take another hour.
That would take a whole hour. Yeah.
And so like I grew up with this idea of like, oh my God, I never thought I could choke and die on this fish bone. And like my dad was not super religious. My mom was the more of the like to go to church. Like she would drag my dad to church and he would fall asleep and start to snore in the back.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
So my dad was like, yeah, you fish. He's like, yeah, Saint Blaise. I don't know nothing about no Saint Blaise. But I'm looking at that fish like I'm staring down like it's puffer fish.
I'm risking my life.
Fugu.
I'm risking my life to eat food.
To eat fish. And whatever. I couldn't get over that. So, I have my I have those things that I can't get past. So I feel you. But you have to, in those moments, you have to tap into the Russian gulag and be like, I must eat this if I want to live.
Everything else was delicious. It was just the uni that was the nota discordante of my meal.
Well,
that's all I can say. Oh,
hey,
so
how much are those, by the way? How much are those 2 places? Do you know what the prices are there?
Let me see. The seatings for the place El Secreto is $295 per person.
Holy God, $300 a person?
Yeah,
Well,
and
it's faena, which
that's the
everything
one
in
at Faena,
is-
you know, and it's gonna be fancy. You're gonna have a good experience. I'm
Like
sure.
they have a gilded mammoth
Yeah,
skeleton
like,
there. You know
like
what I
they're
mean?
not
Like
they're not messing around. Like
Yeah,
they're gonna treat you right. And so then the other one, Blind Tiger is more economic. It's like $120 per person, or for the 6 p.m. seating, and $150 per person for the 9 p.m. seating, and then you can add $55 per person for bottomless champagne.
oh, okay. Well, I think that's more in line with what you see.
Yeah, a night out in Miami, that's like doable.
Yeah, if
Oh my
you're
God.
doing a big
Speaking
night-
of
Yeah.
speaking of night out in Miami, I had a really good experience at Fleming's. They have this thing
Which
on
one? The one in
Tuesdays.
Coral Gables? Is that the one?
The one in the Gables. I went. My girlfriends took me out for my birthday a month late because we just like couldn't get the schedule going. We wanted to go to Tuesdays because it's like Tomahawk Tuesday at Fleming's.
What is that?
It's where they
10%
give you
off
a
your order?
they give you a tomahawk steak, and like they chop it up. It comes with the bone.
Right.
It looks like a whole like Fred Flintstone situation.
Right.
And it is legit. It's like I think it's like $125 for 2 people, and
Okay.
you get like 36 ounces of beef plus 2 side dishes.
Dude, but more than 2 people could probably eat from that. 36 ounces of beef.
My friend Sandy can put it back.
That
Sandy
sounds
was-
like a
Sandy
plate
was eating-
of colon cancer.
No, she was eating really, really, really competitively. Sandy
right.
really went hard, and between the two of us, we left like a tiny bit of our steak. I
Wait,
think-
you left or you took home steak.
Well, it was like 2 little pieces, and I was like, I'm not gonna eat this tomorrow.
Come on. Come on. You got to
No.
so you can shave that at home and make a little cheesesteak out of it.
No, I was not
on.
gonna. I was not gonna work. I was not gonna
Do
use
you
my
remember
leftovers.
that movie with it was not Uncle Buck, but it was John Candy. I want to say it was like The Great Outdoors or something, where I want to say it's a Chevy Chase takes him to like a restaurant where like if you eat the 64-ounce steak,
Oh God!
everybody eats for free, and like
my God.
he starts forcing it down, and he's eating it. There's and the guy says he's not done. He's like, "What are you talking about? There's nothing but fat and gristle left on that plate." And the guy just crosses his arms. So he digs into the rest. I will never forget. That's how I picture you guys staring
It
down
was
that last
pretty
piece of meat.
similar. It was pretty similar. Let me tell you something. That beef was banging. That was really. It was like because I don't like to cook beef at home because as I've said before, I will ruin it. I leave it to the professionals, and it was legit. Tuesdays, Tomahawk Tuesdays. And let me tell you, the potatoes were so good, and everything. The whole experience was good. I had a good month late birthday.
That's the girls' night out.
That's the girls. My girls are
for you
classy.
guys.
They like to go to the classic places.
What's on your list of places? I know that for me, I'm looking at there's 2 that I'm looking at. One of them is Vina. Looks really interesting. It's like a new wine bar that's opened up. It's on Coral Way, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in that place. It's kind of like an upscale Happy Wine is what it looks like, which maybe loses. That's the charm of Happy Wine is that it's downscale. So
Well, maybe
But I
that's
know.
you're just going for a different vibe when you go to Vina,
yeah. You want to have like the wine bar experience,
right? Because there's another Vina I think on Key Biscayne where it's like a wine. It's more like a store, and they have like I think they have a bar where you can try wine and maybe have like little snacks and stuff. But this is like a full restaurant.
Right. No, I'm really curious about that place. I was actually one of our folks down here, Ryan Pfeffer over at The Infatuation. He popped in and he did like one of their reviews on it. And I was looking, I was like, that place looks really interesting. And I know they sent us a note too. So I'm curious to kind of look into that place and check it out. Cause the when I go out now, I'm more into grazing, I'm much more into like trying lots of little things. I'm really big into like being interested in trying lots of little things, and with like either with a good wine or even like a just 2 ounces of brown alcohol with ice in it, just kind of keeping it really simple. And so a place like that is, that's kind of how I like to eat nowadays.
No, when I go out, I'm starving and I want to eat a lot of food right now. That's how I feel, and then I'm going to be sick and I'm going to go home immediately.
But you're usually eating triathlete food, right?
Yeah, no, I'm always starving all the time.
What did you learn from Kush or this guy that owns the one on Sunset about his diet?
Oh, I didn't really get into it with him about diet, but I feel like his menu is kind of a nod to his lifestyle because he was like, I can't just be I can't just be handing out burgers every day. I need something healthy. And plus he's recognizing that there are trends in Miami where people are trying to be healthy, which I think is probably why there's so many successful Japanese places because that food is lighter and it tends to be a little bit healthier and people are just trying to not, you know, they're not trying not to eat Tomahawk Tuesday every day.
Yeah, there's like steak and potatoes is like that was a big night out a few years ago. You know, steak and potatoes, and I think we're past that point already. Like I think a nice night out is more.
You don't have to come home and fall asleep immediately.
Exactly. Like you can have a nice night out and then spend some time with your spouse when you get home versus like let's just go to sleep right now and regret everything tomorrow.
Exactly.
All right. Well, before we check out, what are you eating this weekend? Is there anything that you're got your sights set on?
I still haven't been to Luca. I want to go there.
Oh,
that is on my
okay.
list. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, put that. Okay, move that way to the top. You've been to the Zitsum place, right?
Nope, not yet.
All right. Well, you got to put those two on your list. Those
All right,
two gotta
no,
be near the
those
top.
are my two priorities. And I honestly, I still haven't gotten to go to the brunch at the Red Rooster, so I would like to do that too.
You know what? I only had Red Rooster when they opened, and it was right in the pandemic. So I'm curious to go there and sit down and have like a real experience sitting there because that restaurant is flat out beautiful. And the guy Tristan Epps, who's their executive chef, you know, even though Marcus Samuelson is above him, he's the guy that executes all the dishes and everything. That guy's a master. That guy's really great at what he does. So I'd like to do that too. So whenever you're gonna go, let me know and
let's do brunch.
we'll do brunch.
All right.
I got a kid in COVID protocols all weekend. So
Fun.
that means that I'm in COVID protocols all weekend.
Yeah.
So I made my pizza dough early in the week. So we will be having 72-hour fermented pizza
Oh, you're such a nerd.
this weekend. Whatever. I'm gonna be making Hawaiian pizza at home, and no one can stop me. Mwah.
Yeah, well, post it on Insta so I can live vicariously through you.
I
I'm
will.
about to order some pollo tropical for lunch.
All right. Well, Amy, that feels like a show.
It feels like a show. Thank you for all of your insights into food.
I know. I like these banter shows. I think we should do more of them. Do the
I
people
think
like
so,
the
too.
banter shows?
People like the banter shows.
All right,
People like
folks,
banter in general. So.
People should tell us. They've told us they like the banter shows, so we'll give them some more banter shows in between some guests who can actually drop some knowledge.
So who actually know what they're talking about when it comes to cooking and stuff.
We'll do these in between.
All right.
All right, Amy.
Okay.
Peace out.
Bye.